Can't speed through 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. Yeah, what they know about that?
2 miles an hour, so
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, man, I'm over here. I'm over here feeling like you, man, sniffing and carrying on, man. I think you gave me the snuffleupagus.
Other people made us sick. Me and
Snuffleupagus,
Carmi was
Carmi. Do you hear
minding
me?
our own business and
She got
picked
me
up
out here.
germs up in here.
Man, hey, you see, I got a whole thing of Lysol over here, man. I mean, I spray them down.
Well, look, I'm just saying, I don't know how I got sick.
Yeah, I'm over here like snuffleupagus.
But I don't appreciate it. I don't.
Snuffleupagus.
Uffugus.
Yeah, man.
What's going on, Carmi P? How you doing today?
Well,
Uh-oh.
He got that whale
spirit. I'm feeling great, honestly.
Well, good.
I'm feeling on track. That's exactly what I'm feeling.
On track.
On track.
Bruh.
Yeah,
it ain't too many people can say I'm on track. On track means a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like
on track actually means
in order.
I'm getting myself together.
Yes.
That's exactly how I feel.
On track.
I'm getting myself
I'm not even I'm getting myself together.
I'm
like
on track.
I'm
on
making
the way.
it happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm still getting myself.
Get myself together.
I was thinking it's a song. I know it's
a
song. I gotta think of it. It'll come to me. Well, it's gonna be an interesting show.
Mm-hmm.
Got a guest coming in at 3:30. Claiborne Benson over from the Wisconsin Black Historical Society. Mm-hmm. But I gotta have a moment. I gotta. So I'm gonna play something for y'all that was sent to me. I'm gonna be real clear about the views and the opinions, because this is taken from a brother who has his own podcast, who had some commentary about the shooter involved in the Madison school shooting, and some of it we have not heard said in quite the way this brother is going to say it. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's about 12 minutes. I don't know if I play the whole thing, but I want you to get the general gist of what he's saying. I'm playing this from my cell phone to the mic. So I'm telling you right now, just get ready to understand. You're getting ready to get some hard conversation. These are not my words, but I do want you to hear what is being said on social media that I have yet to fully hear in the news about the Madison High School shooter.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. Yes, it has happened again. The site of the latest carnage is a school in Madison, Wisconsin. On Monday at 10:57 a.m., police received a 911 call from a second grader about a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School, which is a K-12 academy. When they arrived, they found a teacher and a teenage student who were pronounced dead at the scene. 6 other students and a teacher were injured and taken to area hospitals. They eventually found the suspect, who had a gunshot wound. She died in transit to a hospital. Authorities eventually identified the shooter as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who went by the name Samantha. Is there a racial motivation behind this latest slaughter? Of course there is. There always is. But the white media ignores it because they always do. Natalie/Samantha wrote what the white media calls a manifesto. All she does is she rants largely incoherently about things she hates. It reads like it came from the mind of basically a very silly, very immature teenager. See, if this was a non-white person they were talking about, they would just say that the shooter left a note. They wouldn't be calling it a manifesto. A manifesto implies that this is some sort of learned and erudite person giving some sort of treatise about the world, something sophisticated and learned. That's the last thing it is. She starts off her diatribe saying that she hates seeing people so sensitive. Sounds like Ben Shapiro and every right-wing nut you've ever seen the last 40 years now, don't it? And for someone who hates sensitive people so much, she spends page after page after page whining about every little petty thing she can think of. By the way, if you ever read an excerpt from Hitler's autobiography, Mein Kampf, you'll notice the exact same type of gripes. The times may change, but these people don't. The people who have the least to complain about are the main ones complaining the most. And instead of society telling them to shut up, it instead gives these people platforms and legitimizes them. which makes them think they have a point even though they don't. She also says that the human scum is color. Well, she's warming to her subject, I see. And then on the second page, she decides that she's going to talk about what she hates the most. First, she says she hates whores and scum. Those are the things she hates the most. But then in the very next sentence, she says niggers. Though worse, once you sleep with one, you are one. I don't care who you think you are or what you've done good for this world of yours. It will never matter because you will always have no thought and no brain to continue with. Now, doesn't that sound like every crackpot racialist pseudoscientific gibberish about black people and alleged lower IQs that you've ever heard? The same rambling, same avalanche of verbal vomit. There's no coherent thought being expressed here at all, and yet they claim it's black people who have no brain. This is why the online anti-black rhetoric that these websites freely allow to be posted is not harmless, and these websites know it. You can find every anti-black racist from Ben Shapiro to Charlie Kirk copying and pasting the same kind of sentiments as these mass shooters do. The only difference is instead of scaremongering about miscegenation alone, they'll say crime or culture, but it's the same spiel, and they spout it for the same reasons. Just last week, I was telling you about the racism from white high schoolers towards their black classmates, that the Columbine massacre was motivated by the white supremacist ideology that Klebold and Harris had engaged in, that their little gang, the Trenchcoat Mafia, had attacked a black student and menaced his siblings, and that on the day of the massacre, Klebold and Harris specifically sought out and killed that very same black student. In most of these mass murders, we consistently find some element of white supremacist, if not outright anti-black ideology from the killers. Yet the white media conveniently neglects to mention that connection, because they're not about to do anything that indicts the dominant society. This murderer Roop now, like Klebold and Harris before her, also ran around in pseudo-paramilitary attire. Notice that she's on a gun range wearing brown cargo pants, similar to the kind that mercenary contractors wear. Klebold and Harris's little gang also wore combat boots and berets. This is meant to show a particular mindset that these little racists have, that they're at war, and given their open anti-black ideology, it's clear who they're at war with. But you also notice that this woman's wearing a shirt with the letters KMFDM on it. KMFDM is a multinational industrial rock band, whatever that means, from Hamburg, Germany. The KMFDM shirt that she liked to wear is also significant, because the Columbine shooters were also fans of that band, and they wore the exact same shirts too. So she was modeling herself after them. These were her role models, because under white supremacy, their religion is one that worships power, but for them, power means one thing and one thing only: the ability to kill as much as you want without consequence or remorse. Under white supremacy, the more ruthless, the more racist, the more you're revered. And this obsession with idolizing those who carry out mass murders in the name of white privilege is not just a psychotic sickness that affects those at the top, the elites who like to have tons of money stacked up and they say that these were the murders that got them their billions, but it's also practiced all the way down to children. The artwork associated with this band often features guns and scenes of violence, so of course the white media ignores it because they're not black. But people like Roop now and other disaffected and malignant youth idolize this stuff. The so-called artwork that these kinds of bands like is disturbing to look at because it doesn't look human. It looks like a satanic machine's interpretation of what humans look like. Now, to you and me, this is clearly deranged. But to a deranged mind, this is emotionally resonant with them. It's all about the feelings, and the feelings on display are anger, pain, lust, destruction, indifference to others. The images are abstract, sharp, dark, and hostile, which is how they feel. Art imitates life, which imitates art. But to the white supremacists, it's the art of war. From Columbine to this latest degenerate, we see so many of these mass murderers who are into that Nazi rock crap, and yet we've never seen anyone.
Oh, hold on.
Wow, that's deep.
Hang on.
Yikes, that is deep.
Hang on. Where'd it go?
Whoa.
Let me see if it picks back up where it started.
Whoa.
It's definitely deep.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. It won't continue playing.
Family and fellow soldiers,
okay,
I'm the
hang
professor,
on.
and this is the moment of truth.
So hang on. I'm going to start it.
Yes,
I will.
it has happened.
Hang on. So I'm going to start it again, or pick it up. But so what I wanted you to hear on this particular podcast, and it's called MOT number 7 53, what they aren't telling you about Natalie Rupp now. And the guy, let me see if I that
indicts the dominant society.
hang on.
This murderer Rupp now, like Klebold and Harris before her, KMFDM is a multinational industrial rock band, whatever that means. The malignant youth idolized attack earlier this year. Samantha referred to Ku Klux Klan as an ultimate saint and acknowledged him as a significant inspiration. Turkey is part of the European Union, even though the Turks are largely Muslim, and that being the case, they don't really qualify as white, certainly not in the Western European sense of the term, and yet you find that so much of this white supremacist ideology is right at home there. So what does that tell you? Kind of indicates what they think of when they say European Union. But something else I noticed, other than her blatant racism, is that she repeatedly said that nothing she does is ever her fault. Quote, I've grown to hate people in society, and it's truly not my fault, though. It never was. Or, it's not even my fault, though. It's everyone else's. It has to be theirs and not mine. Now, where are the clowns from the white right at to lecture society about how people like this need to take responsibility for their actions and stop always blaming everyone else for everything that happens to them? This killer kid literally blamed the entire world. And no, she was not mentally ill. This was not an act of lunacy. It was an act of extreme entitlement. This was not someone who had lost control. This was someone who was determined to show that they were taking control of everyone else. Don't let the white media blur the lines and obliterate the difference. She's been conditioned to be this way, conditioned by family and by society. She is truly a product of her environment. And that environment is white supremacy, which is basically synonymous with these mass shootings because white supremacy is synonymous with the suburban culture that produces these psychopaths. Of course, you have to notice she's wearing a Joker shirt. See, this is where life imitates art, though I put the word art in quotes. This is why it's a bad idea for the white media to be promoting the idea and images of serial killers and psychotics as being some sort of dark geniuses. But because the dominant society produces so much of them, they kind of have to do that. The reason the white media does this, however, is because these studio executives and the reprobates in their orbit are degenerates, and they use their positions in the white media to play out all kinds of demented fantasies in real life. As a result, they want to feel validated in their degeneracy. They want to celebrate their satanic behavior, so they produce movies and TV shows where the psycho is treated like some evil genius whose brilliance is simply too high for the rubes and the normies to understand. And we see all kinds of horrifying crimes and butchery as a result. These slasher movies and torture porn are actually wish fulfillment fantasies by these white media and studio executive types who are being gratified by seeing this mess. They look at that screen and they see themselves, and truth be told, they're right. The nonstop social worship that the dominant society receives, combined with their obsession with guns, because guns are what gave them control of the world a few hundred years back, this is a toxic brew that keeps burning them over and over again. But freedom of movement and immunity from law and criticism are the three primary tangible benefits that white supremacy bestows on those it classifies as white. So they're not about to infringe upon that. As always, this latest slaughter is going to be swept under the rug with the propaganda line of, she was crazy, and that's because she's not black. Black shooters are always sane. They can be barking at the moon, crazy as hell, but there's never anything wrong with them. But when the shooter looks like, well, the overwhelming majority of mass shooters, none of them can be sane. They're not allowed to be. There must be something wrong with them, even though it happens so routinely that it's normal. So we see that this mass killer's denial of responsibility for her actions also directly mirrors the denial of responsibility by the white media. When she says, it's not my fault, it's everyone else's, it has to be theirs and not mine. That's the same way the white media denies reality with all these mass killers. They're not responsible for their behavior. It has to be mental illness. It has to be the fault of mental illness and not theirs. Because if they admit that there's nothing wrong with these psycho killers, they would also have to look and say, gee, we got a pattern here that says this is normal. But normal, why? And why does the racism kick into gear after middle school with so many of these shooters? Because as Neely Fuller explained, around the time that white children become 13, that's when they hit puberty, and it's when their parents and those in their social circles begin making it very clear to them precisely what the rules of racism are, how every aspect of their lives is to be conducted based on it, and that they better adhere to that because that's what their position in life depends on. You see, that's the age when they stop tap dancing around the edges with them and just come straight up the middle with it. That's why this behavior becomes particularly virulent when they hit their teens, about the time that they're getting into the late middle school years. Will we see the white media racializing this? See anyone asking the white suburbs to explain why this keeps happening? Will we see white leaders holding marches and saying, we gotta stop killing each other? Will we see the relentless pushing of that narrative? Or will it just be treated as a nameless, largely faceless tragedy that just fell out of the sky like an asteroid again? Well, we've been through this enough times to know exactly how this one's going to play out. And so, as usual, the country can go ahead and hold its breath until the next slaughter takes place at a school or somewhere else. Tragically, they won't have to wait long. Unfortunately, that's normal too. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our...
So again, for folks that are like Michelle, what was that? Where did you get that from? First of all, I want to thank the individual that shared the podcast with me, and it's on YouTube. It's not a secret that a number of people have said that they've had an opportunity to see some of the writings of the young lady involved in the Madison shooting. And they even on CNN, I can play a clip from CNN in which they talked about the T-shirt that she had on the range. This podcaster referenced it in his commentary. Same T-shirt by this band out of Germany that the Columbine shooters, they were wearing their T-shirts. Other mass shooters have worn these T-shirts by this particular band. The band has come out and denounced, Columbine, denounced people who take their music, and apply it towards white supremacy. But enough people have said if it look like a duck, quack like a duck, walk like a duck, bruh, you probably, a supremacist, a white supremacist. And so this is the thing, as we've been listening to, the police and the media and everybody talking about, we're putting this narrative together. We're trying to figure out what was going on. We've heard the word bullying be interjected, but the fact that she was calling black folks niggas and saying that, people were scum, and that if you allowed yourself to become pregnant by a nigga, that you just was nothing. Like, I've seen the copies of the documents that are on social media. And I'm having this Molson Coors moment when we were asking the question, and I know I got to go to break, but when we were asking the question, so when is the other part of the information going to come out? It wasn't until callers into this radio program, just was beating that drum out loud, like, no, they not telling you everything that was happening at Molson Coors when his brother shoots these employees over there at the plant. Yeah. That this man had a noose put in his workstation, that he had been harassed. And we had Morales, the Latino police chief, run in front of the microphone within 5 minutes and tell us no investigation complete. This had nothing to do with race. Well, how you know? Because the investigation hadn't even started in earnest. Yeah. So I'm waiting because, what I find interesting is that the chief of police in Madison is a brother, Sean Barnes. So I'm going to break. But I know they've seen what is on social media. And I'm listening as everybody is being very, very careful how they talk about this little girl right now. I'll be right back.
The holidays, and holiday trips, and holiday toys, and holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
Find your red tag. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $3,750 total value on this Silverado when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Chevrolet.
The passing of a loved one is emotional enough without adding the stress of funeral arrangements. By pre-planning, you receive the desires of your heart while taking away the burden from your family. It also saves you money, providing the dignity and respect your memory deserves. And there are times when life ends unexpectedly. Please know that the New Pitts Mortuary is here to lend a helping, caring hand anytime, day or night. We
All right, family. Welcome back. So I took a moment to read or to play actually an excerpt from a podcast that was done. I can give you the information. It was startling to hear, very poignant in its assertion. But the concern that was raised in that podcast is one that has been flying around social media. And there are people that are saying that they've had an opportunity to see some of the writings of the young 15-year-old out of Madison who committed the shooting a couple of days ago, and that what they saw was disturbing. They have connected everything from her clothing to other school shooters, and have said that they have, found some things where she clearly had been researching school shooters, had certain ideations about them, and that racism, a disdain for Black people was kind of embedded in some of the social commentary that this young lady had made. The reason why, number one, I'm bringing it up on the show is because as I've listened to the formal statements that have come out from the police department, from folks close to the scene, you've not heard any of that really. You've heard possibly bullying, that there was a confluence of issues that have possibly played into what's going on with this young lady. You got to watch CNN to hear CNN have somebody break down her gear to talk about, look at the T-shirt. The symbolism on the T-shirt means something. Even the pants that she was wearing, more kind of fatigue, industrial type of pants, that says something. Pay attention to those things. This is what national law enforcement officers or observers have been saying. And I'm just, as we're watching the whole thing play out, I'm just gonna be waiting to see what local authorities finally are willing to say. And as I said, reminding me of the Molson Coors shooting, in which we were told right away race has nothing to do with it. And clearly it had to be something wrong with his brother. But when they do this extensive background review, bills is in order, the house is fine, there is no mental illness. The only thing people can point to is how he had been treated in the workplace. And so I'm flagging it for us right now as a community that we need to pay attention, because the same way that 10-year-old child who shot his mother, the conversation about waving him into adult court, the way our children and this child has documented mental health issues, people don't care frequently when it comes to children of color. They don't care. But white children can frequently get a pass. I go back to the Slender Man case. They can frequently get a pass. So I'm flagging it. Continue to be on the alert. Pay attention to how this case is being talked about. And as for us, the old folks used to say, I'm going to keep it close to the vest, or I'm going to hold my powder dry, because I just want to wait and see what the rest of the information is. Just like I said, the city of Milwaukee aldermen ran out to do a fundraiser because we Milwaukee strong, to help the families of the employees over at Molson Coors. But many of them that ran to do that, y'all can't tell me to this day if it wasn't tied to racist behavior that got them killed. I'm not saying it did, but you can't tell me it didn't. While you out raising money potentially for some racist family members. So this is an uncomfortable conversation, but it's stuff that needs to be said, because when it's our children, it's handled and treated differently. All right, so I'm gonna move on. I said I had a guest coming into the studio. He is here. And, luckily, wonderfully, he is talking to us about something to elevate the spirit, to be extremely, extremely proud of. Let me welcome to the studio none other than Mr. Claiborne Benson, the executive director. Is that the title?
Executive Director, Wisconsin Black Historian. And
There
they say it out loud. Is he back again on the radio? Well, guess what, family? I'm going to be on this radio between now and February, a whole bunch.
We need the information, though. You got a lot of good stuff to tell us. We want to make sure that the community is getting it all. First of all, let me say, and I'm not going to be sexist. I'm going to do you like I did the women I had on the show earlier today. Do you celebrate Christmas? Or are you shopping? You ready for the holiday?
I don't celebrate Christmas.
I was wondering. Okay.
I'm troubled by the commercialism of it, and so I don't celebrate. But it doesn't mean that our brothers and sisters can't celebrate Christmas and Kwanzaa,
right?
Because it's two different holidays. Kwanzaa happens to be a culture holiday that does not conflict with Christmas, and for those of us that feel that we have to do Christmas, we can do Christmas and our belief as a religion, as part of our. But so many other ethnic groups. Jewish and other groups have their religious holidays during the month of December. But Dr. Kringle says that it is a month and is a celebration of reaffirming our African roots from where we came from. We should never forget from where we came. And that is what Kwanzaa, through those 7 principles are called Negosha Savas. It's a way to live our lives every day. You can still be a Christian or any other religion you choose to be. You can do both of them if you want to. They don't conflict. I happen to choose Kwanzaa because, and go to church every weekend, but I practice Kwanzaa during this period of time because everybody wants something. They want their gifts. and I'm not saying you can't get something. I'm not saying you can't get something. It's called Zawadi.
Excuse me.
I'm not saying you can't get something. I'm saying that get some thought to what you get. It's not
Mm.
about going out and spending a bunch of money. It's about uh, uh, if somebody said we want to give you something, volunteer some time, or mail me a check, or make me a pair of house shoes, or write me a letter. All of these things don't necessarily cost money, but your time. Give some thought to what it is that you're contributing to friends, families, and loved ones. And so that's what Kwanzaa is about to me. It's a way of life. Those 7 principles of Negotia Savas, Emoja, unity, sticking together, respecting each other, knowing your role in your family, understanding you are from the motherland, and knowing what the struggles of your brothers and sisters all over this country and even the motherland. Kuji Chagalia, Kuji Chagalia. Coochie chocolate, coochie chocolate, coochie chocolate. And I said louder and louder. I don't want to break the vibrations in the phone. But I say it because it means self-determination. It means who it is. Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Kuji Chocolate gives us that drive to be that we choose to be. I could go through all of the principles, but clearly the principles are very important. And we're going to celebrate it December the 26th at Wisconsin Black Historic Society. We've been celebrating it there for 37 years now. But prior to that, I celebrated with Dr. Kringer, Sister Sakia Courtney, Bill Taylor, who introduced it to me and shared it with me. I mean, many other groups. Dr. Kringer, when he first founded it, Milwaukee was the first or the second stop outside of Los Angeles, California, or Long Beach, California.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he did it at the Panthers Den there on Tetonia. It was
The
an old
Panthers
theater.
Den?
The Panthers Den. That's the name of a old theater. The building is no longer there, but it was a group of students from UWM who created that institution, and that is where that's what he did in 1967.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Milwaukee is
Yeah.
always in the mix.
It is.
I mean, it's just so many things
And
that when
many
you
things.
you hear it came through here,
It
or
came- it was.
we were connected
The
in some
first
way.
place outside of Long Beach, California, Milwaukee was the first city to actually.
Do we know
practice
why he
Kwanzaa.
chose Milwaukee?
I think that the brothers and sisters asked him to come.
Really?
And I'm told, because I wasn't there,
Okay.
I'm told that they stayed up all night long talking about the principles of
Hmm.
Kwanzaa and what it meant. It was celebrate a little bit different than we celebrate now. We
Right.
bring the rhythm on when we doing it now.
Right.
We dancing and drumming, talking about significant things, but then it was new. And I mentioned Dr. Kringer, but I have to also, because he is one of the founders, but I have to also mention the US organization because he did it along with the US organization,
Right.
group of African American brothers and sisters who worked with him to create these 7 principles. And yes, it seems difficult with the Swahili words that are spoken, but using English words. And is it a complicated? It is as simple as you make it and as complicated as a PhD and more.
Hmm.
That is how unique and special Kwanzaa is. What does it bring to you? It brings everything. Nia, the principle of Nia. What does it mean? Purpose. What in hell is my purpose on this earth? What am I supposed to be doing? And if you're not thinking about that, something wrong with you. Because every one of us need to have an agenda. What our goals and objectives are, where we headed, what do we want, and all of the things that comes along with achieving those goals. That is the principle of Nia.
Right.
Kuji Chagalia. I mentioned that one, but then Nia, excuse me, I'm sorry, Imani. Kuumba. Kuumba means creativity. Now, some people would tie that to art and the various uniqueness and differences that we are. But Kuumba also says that we are all unique and special, and we all bring something special to the table. Every one of us
Right.
got a gift.
Absolutely.
Now, you got to look and find it sometimes. You got to step around and check them out. But in truth, all of us got something. And we should not disclaim anybody because they don't necessarily come to us in the way in which you expect them to come to us. Anyway, so the December 26th, we're celebrating Kwanzaa. We encourage all of it. Now, in the last 2-3 years, our numbers have gone down, but prior to that, I mean, the city ordinance says we can only have 200 people, but they don't. We ask them to turn it back because on our normal Kwanzaa, we get 500 to 600 people. You got to come early.
I've been there.
We get the crowds are stacked, and they're not just downstairs in the big where the Kwanzaa ceremony is going. They in every part of the building.
Yeah.
Even when they don't see no program, they there.
I mean, well, first of all, because of the photography, the art, the vendors that are in the building, it is literally the way so many people I know, it's the beginning to their new year.
Yeah,
and it recenters people and grounds people and reminds them, as I'm coming up on January 1, I'm making sure my head is in the game.
Yeah.
And like you said, I understand my purpose.
Yeah.
I know, excuse me, the path I want to be on. I want to be able to evaluate what I said I was going to do this past year.
Yeah.
So we, starting and for me, it really was like starting off the year, because at the minute Christmas is over, I was pretty much done with the year. So Kwanzaa was the opportunity to begin to reflect, lay out the path for the next leg of the journey. And I always have respected and appreciated the camaraderie. You see a lot of the folks come through, the families. It's always cool to see that.
In droves.
Yes.
Families come in. They don't turn away at the door. They get outrageous. They want to be in there. even if they got to stand.
Yeah.
You cannot walk from one end of the room to the other because so many people.
It has always been a place to be, you know. So you are here for a couple other reasons too.
Yes, but before I talk about the other reasons, I want to say to you that when they come to Kwanzaa, everybody gets something out of it. From the little kids who are invited to come up and we raise their hands, they insist on their mothers and fathers bringing them so that they can participate. Here's Sister Jamila, she's black and beautiful. Here's Sister Jamila, she's black and beautiful, singing power to the people, singing power to the people. She's black and beautiful. Every one of the people who come in every category, we want them to get something spiritually out of it as they go. Our college students, we want them, either the old heads like me who go up there and those young people who just first semester in college. What you doing there? Pay attention to what you're doing. Challenge your teachers. Think for yourself. The goal is to encourage at every level everybody to get something out of these 7 principles of Negotia Sabbath.
And so you will have Kwanzaa activities at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society.
Right, we will.
3 days.
1 day.
1 day.
Yeah, we only have a certain amount of energy.
Okay.
Because there are other groups, churches, and other community groups will be having Kwanzaa. I know that there's going to be on NIA. There'll be something going on at the Women's Center.
Yes. So Faith Colas is listening,
right? And
she sent me the Kwanzaa citywide schedule.
Okay.
And so it looks like that, we'll be over at your place on the 26th.
Right.
Doors open at 6 p.m. That's the opening ceremony.
Right.
And then Umoja. And then on the 27th, over at the Kujajakalia Producers Cooperative, 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue. I'm not familiar with that. But that's 11 a.m. to 7. On the 29th, they will be at America's Black Holocaust Museum.
Okay. Yeah.
12 to 5. And then on the 30th, over at the
Women's Center.
Well, this one is the Center for where is it? Leadership of African Women's Wellness.
Okay.
So that's 1037 West McKinley Avenue.
All right.
That's new for me. I'm not
That's
familiar
good.
with that.
I'm not familiar with them neither. But.
And then on the 31st, they will be over at Fruition, 825, I guess, North 27th Street. And then on the closing ceremony is at the Wisconsin African American Women's Center.
Yes.
And that, excuse me, and that's on New Year's Day.
Yes.
So I'll make sure I post this schedule to my Facebook page, and a number of folks have come to the table to be able to make this a citywide celebration. And I like the way Faith said it. So many are following in Claiborne's footsteps, receiving his flowers.
Oh my goodness!
like
she's too kind, but I have to tell you, I followed in many other people's footsteps. I mean, I learned it through being in the smoke pool car, going to Kwanzaa by myself. I learned it. We did it by. With only 3 or 4 people in the very beginning, singing Christmas carols outside of people's houses, walking throughout the neighborhood. That we don't do it like that today,
right?
But any way we could celebrate Kwanzaa, we did, and because
we've done it at people's homes. Yeah, we
do churches and people's homes.
Yeah, I remember. I was always impressed at the folks who, made it a part of just their holiday celebration. Right. You rolled out of Christmas, rolled right into that.
That's right.
And so in terms of having, everything that you needed to, I've actually been at the table to make the gifts for someone. Spoken word, just people just talking about what they were thankful for. So it has definitely been
talking about their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
My life. Absolutely. What have I done? And what do I want to do? How do I accomplish that?
Right.
Those are the kind of, and you need to talk about it with your family, people who mean something to you. That's important. I decided to be a filmmaker out of Kwanzaa.
Really?
Yes. Out of Kwanzaa. Yes.
Okay, put them on. Hey, caller. Hello.
Hi, Michelle. This is Hetty Keith calling in. We're hosting Kwanzaa on December the 30th, but it's at the Women's Center on 3020 West Fleet Street.
Okay,
you mentioned McKinley, but that's our old address. We're over here. We're in the Women's Center now.
Okay, perfect, because it's on the flyer incorrectly. So I will I'll make sure to note that.
It is?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at a copy of the flyer right now, and it has that's where I got the address from. So I will when I post it on my Facebook page, I'll make a note about that on the post.
And I said it on the 30th.
Yep. You did. You did.
Yeah.
So
he said on the 30th, but then so that must be the flyer that has all of the Kwanzaa dates on it?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at from the December 14th all the way through January 1st.
Okay, that's a mistake, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm so glad you corrected it, and we'll make sure that we put the correct information out there.
Yes, I'm listening, but I'm working, but I'm listening to you.
It's appreciated.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my sister. So then, as I said, we have many things going on, and so this Friday,
yes.
I'm saying this Friday,
the 20th,
tomorrow, the
20th,
the
20th,
the new film that is coming out, 6888, the postal work. African American women are postal workers, and they are, and the film is coming out for the public to see.
So hang on one second.
Yes.
Claiborne, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play the trailer for it.
Okay.
And then let you go ahead and talk
Fantastic.
about it.
Thank you.
All right.
Attention! Soldiers, I am Captain Charity Adams. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps.
Delma, my wife and I have been talking about the problems we are having with the mail and our soldiers' morale.
Mr. President, this assignment is proving to be a logistical nightmare. Even tried the Women's Army Corps.
You mean the White Women's Army Corps?
Well, is there another?
Unspeakable, unspeakable.
Adams, you and the 6th AAA Battalion are headed to Europe.
Should you open it? The Postal Battalion? They think the only thing we good for is deliver some damn mail.
Would you like to see all the hangars, ma'am?
How many are there?
All of them.
Oh my God. Ladies, we have been ordered to provide hope. The soldiers have not heard from their loved ones, and their loved ones have not heard from them. When there is no mail, there is low morale. 6th AAA Battalion! Forward! March! They did not send us because they thought we could do it. We are here because they are sure we cannot. We are no strangers to making a shack a home. We are at war, and when you are at war, you make do. Unlike some other folks here, we have the most to prove. Now is where you show the proof. This is our mission. And we will not fail.
Hey! Oh my God. Woo! Look, what she say? We are no strangers to making a shack a home. Come on, Kerry Washington.
She's saying
portraying Charity Adams.
All of the time in which rats and roaches and pests clamoring the floor of this big warehouse, London, England, where all this mail is, where food and everything else is in there with packages. She's saying, we're going to make this work.
I mean, it is just such an inspiring story. So please go ahead and continue.
Yeah, we're Wisconsin Black Historic Society is taking the time to show this movie on 6 o'clock Friday at Wisconsin Black Historic. We encourage all to come out and see it. There is no charge at all. And we encourage you to come out and see it and look good. And I may be incorrect, but there's only one survivor, and the sister lives here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And perhaps her daughter will come to the program, but we've talked to her about it, and she's happy that we're showing the movie. There's no place else is showing it in the city of Milwaukee, so we encourage you to come out and have a good time and watch the contributions of our brothers and sisters in Europe during 1943.
And so that Milwaukee member of the 688, Miss Anna Mae Robinson,
yes, ma'am.
Who recently celebrated her 100th birthday.
Yes.
These women also received the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yes, they did.
But the character that Kerry Washington plays,
Yes.
and we were real excited. We were able to have Kerry Washington meet Miss Robinson. But that character, just a little bit about her. Her name was Charity Adams Early, and she was the first African-American woman to be an officer in the Women's Auxiliary Corps, and was the commanding officer of the 1st Battalion of African-American women to serve overseas during World War II. She was the highest ranking African-American woman in the Army by the completion of the war. One of the things that people need to understand, if you are from North Carolina, got family in North Carolina, she was from Cottrell, North Carolina, grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. And her father, a college graduate, was also a Methodist minister. Her mom was a school teacher. And she went on to become the valedictorian of her high school, where she then went on to Wilberforce University, majored in math and physics. And after graduating, she went to Columbia, where she taught math at the high school level. And then she went and got her master's degree in psychology from The Ohio State University, receiving her master's degree in 1946. So this was a woman, you know, people talk about there's nothing worse than when opportunity presents itself, you're not ready. She was ready.
She was ready.
I mean, when this assignment came, when the call came, and in the people, you can see the trailer for this film on YouTube, but you will see a Black woman featured, you know, in this discussion. That's Mary McLeod Bethune. And she and Eleanor Roosevelt, who was also instrumental in the Tuskegee Airmen being able to get engaged.
And said, allow these women to do this.
That's
task.
right. That's right. And she
it's
said,
important.
Yeah, she said, they ain't sent us here because they believed in us.
Yeah.
They thought we was going to fail.
Yeah.
So what is it like?
These men need to get their mail.
I think they said no mail, low morale.
That's right.
You know, understanding that this is all people had to keep them going at the time. I can't even imagine. There was a couple of things in terms of racism that they encountered. They talked about that when she entered the Army, she still faced discrimination, but was not afraid to speak up or fight for desegregation in the Army. One of the first battles she fought was the equality when the Army proposed segregating the training regiment. When she was told she would head one of the segregated regiments, she refused. Fortunately, the Army decided against doing it. On another occasion, when a general stated, "I'm going to send a white first lieutenant down here to show you how to run this unit." And she responded, "Over my dead body." Come on now.
I would say that you can see in that trailer, she had some other obstacles among her own people.
Yeah.
Meaning that we're gonna make this happen, whether you scared of roaches and rats or whatever it is, because all of that stuff is in this warehouse in London, and it had been stuck there forever, and roaches was taking a hat at it. So yeah, many of her soldiers did not want to do it because it was tough. But she said, "We're gonna do this hook or crook."
I mean, the story is just so incredible and inspiring. And we've talked before. We've talked about the what's it called, the Black Cross workers,
Yes, Black Cross nurses yes.
that were here that that played their
1921
part,
through 30s.
That have played significant roles. And one of the things when people talk about patriotism, frequently those images don't conjure up Black servicemen and women. It's almost like white dominant culture, mainstream culture, they have the corner on patriotism, and people don't appreciate the role that we have played and the things that we have done.
Especially women. Women have been the bomb. Women have made it happen. In fact, if you see the men doing something, it's because the women said, "This is what you're going to do." It's the women, all the way from the 1840s, women are planning and having conferences, talking about freedom long before it was an idea. In through the turn of the century, women are encouraging, supporting, creating clusters of groups, demanding and addressing the issues of people. Women are so important.
Well, I was looking. I went back to go look at the story that was written on Milwaukee's own Ms. Robinson, and they talked about that they sorted more than 17 million pieces of mail in 3 months while stationed in England, breaking all Army records. And because they did that there, they were then shipped to France. And they had to do it all over again.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they did it twice.
But they did it in 45, so the war is almost over at this time. But they're people getting their mail that they've been dropped.
I just, like I said, when you read about it, and her daughter is Cherie Robertson.
Yes.
It is just such an incredible story. And to know again, Milwaukee's in the mix.
Yes.
Because she ended up migrating here. I think she moved here after the war, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll go back and see if I can remember how her Milwaukee connection came about. But I think she came after she left the Navy, because she joined the Navy. She joined the Army at the age of 19. And her brother went to the Navy. That's what it was. They both decided to enlist together in 1943.
Okay. All right.
And so she was saying, she just wanted to be self-sufficient, take care of herself, and, be able to be out here. Had no idea that they would be making history.
She's a terrific person. They had at the Arts Center, or the Veterans Center downtown, they had a tribute to them in the spring of this year, and I videotaped it, and I'm gonna put it together and put it out on Facebook so that people can see it. But they had experts from all over the country come in to pay homage and tribute to her for her work. Again, she's the last around, and she's very special.
Well, I am looking forward to it. I like the idea of being able to watch it with the community too.
Yeah.
I just think that because when we go to Congressional Black Caucus, their annual conference, they always screen a movie. And so I saw Red Tails there, which was the Tuskegee Airmen story. And just being in the room
Yeah.
and hearing the reaction from other folks
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know,
Feeling it too.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and the pride
Yeah.
when you see these planes take
Yeah.
off and you see
Yeah.
these brothers doing their
Mhm.
thing. I mean, so when I say I'm super excited and amped to see the women, because these were had never heard these
Sure.
stories,
Yeah.
never been taught these stories.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with any of this at all
No, I was
before?
not familiar with it at all.
You know, and I appreciate having
Yeah.
a Tyler Perry being able to
Yeah.
bring it to
That's right.
people.
That's right. Very
So
important.
like I got a couple of things because I'm told them I'm mad. Over in Chicago today, they're doing the Luther Vandross documentary.
Okay.
So that's not coming to Milwaukee. So I got to wait to January 1st to see it on streaming.
Okay.
So this is my, you know, like I'm okay. I'll be all right. I'll get to enjoy this, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right, please.
I'm gonna talk a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, community, come out and see it, please. Give us a.
And this is free.
Give us a show. This is totally free. No, cost you nothing. We encourage you to become members of the museum so we can do more stuff like this. But it's free.
So tell people what it takes to become a member. And I think, because I know I haven't done a membership, I think in a couple of years now, so I know I need to re-up.
Yeah.
So what's the membership?
We're gonna pass out membership applications Friday night, and you can call and get your membership application in the mail. Go online at our website and see the applications there. It's $50 a family, and fill it out so that you can get a newsletter from us. Any help with history questions that you may have, we're there for you. We honor our members, and they're very, very important to us.
And we have always had memberships.
Yes,
We've always had
very
them.
much so. And we need that to survive. I mean, if you don't take care of us, nobody else is going to take care of us. And you need to decide if you're going to have a historical society or not. Not somebody else who may or may not contribute to us. We are important to us, and this is.
And when you say us, that's the collective
that's
we.
Right.
We need to make sure that we have institutions,
that's right.
That we have some place to store our history.
That's right.
Your venue has become a go-to for so many organizations that hold functions and need a place to have a convening. So it is a critical part of the community.
Right. Well, thank you very much. And we have a licensed archivist on staff now. We collect artifacts that tell our story from all the way from the ankle braces used by our slave brothers and sisters to glasses or Father Grappi's and Lloyd Bobby's graduation gowns that tell our story. Yeah, we have tons of stuff there. At the museum, and for years I collected materials, but I just simply put it in a pack. He made some sense out of all of this stuff. He really does. He's knowledgeable about it. Professor J. Howard Alpha, Miss Bernice Lindsay. I mean, there are literally hundreds of people who have made major contributions in this city, and we want to be able to tell those stories.
So speak real quick to it before you go, the succession plan, because so often, we'll have these organizations that are the vision of an individual.
Right.
And then there are times when they can enlist their children to keep the vision going.
Sure.
Sometimes folks' children, and we've seen this even with Black-owned businesses, their children will have different ideas, for themselves. And
that takes it takes work to cultivate the minds of your children to step into that order. I have to tell you, it hasn't been simple. I mean, if you think now, my daughter wants to do it now, but I can tell you, she walked off the job. I had to hold the position. She got a little money in her pocket. She said, "I'll see you later."
I mean, because it can be a thankless job, it can be a job where like, man,
now
you pay everybody else before you pay yourself. Just keep the lights on.
So. You think there was plenty? It ain't about no money. Are you kidding me?
Look, because I even laugh because my son, and me and Lena talk about this all the time, because Lena's son ran as far away from politics as he possibly could. My son was like, no, ma'am. I mean, in college, he was SGA president. He did stuff in college.
Yeah.
Once he graduated, he was like, He was like, I'm going to corporate America. Forget what y'all talking about. Y'all working this hard for $30,000. I'm all right. And, he walked away. It is funny to talk to him now.
Yeah.
Because now he's actually talking about running for office and talking about public service.
Okay.
So they listening.
Yeah.
All them years of being around.
Yeah.
they were absorbing it and
Yeah.
sinking
Yeah.
in, but they got to come to it on their own terms.
They do.
And so you are fortunate your baby girl
Yes,
has
my only one.
your only one.
I raised her, and she's still there. What can I say? But yeah, she's committed to it, and we're trying to make sure she get finished with this education thing first.
Okay.
And then I can rest and settle down a little bit. Got to get a little more money so we can pay my replacement. But yeah, I'm up in age right this minute. So,
I can't tell.
Well,
Not
I
a
can
wrinkle
tell you,
on your face. I can't
got
tell.
it. I'm
Black
up in
don't
age.
crack.
I'm way
I
up there.
cannot tell.
I got 37 years in this right here, and I worked a full-time job at Channel 4 for 39 years. So those are some major years.
They are, but you don't look like it, Claiborne. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I don't know what you want me to do.
I have that internal drive that makes me want to do this. It means studying. I just finished my master's because I want to be a real historian. I don't want to be somebody who gives out history stories and not have any backbone to it, not understand from the sources in which they come. And so I'm encouraging my daughter to know. I teach her all the time about this community's history, and she's growing into it. And I'm proud of her, very much so.
You know, you mentioned that you had completed your master's degree. We saw David,
Yes.
County Executive Crawley, recently completed his undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
I heard what you just said, though, about the ability to be able to put the formality of that education behind the work that you do.
Yeah.
What type of difference do you think that makes?
It makes a lot of difference to me.
Okay.
I learned. Not only did I learn, but all of the people around me learned. And I don't take credit by myself. I mean, there's a support mechanism in place because I tried before and failed. 2 other times I tried to finish my master's and did not make it. You have to have the support and friends who read your papers and correct them. You have to have somebody that will cover you when you're not there. You have to have somebody who will read the book with you and then answer. I mean, yeah, I learned a lot. I can tell you when I went back, I didn't think the white people could tell me nothing, but they taught me how to think. They taught me how to read and double search, double check, and research materials. I learned. I learned big time. I can't tell you I know everything.
Because even if it's process, I remember,
That's right.
you know,
Process.
like, and it was funny. I remember, and this is even, no matter who my professors were, but just that whole formal educational system. I remember, so because I'm African American history undergrad, and I remember going into my classes, and their classes would be probably like 55% Black, 60% Black, and Black students was failing left and right. And we had Black professors and a few white professors, but predominantly Black professors, but they was failing.
Yeah.
And but I'm passing. I'm doing I'm doing very, very well. And I remember talking to Vincent Van Horn up at UWM, and he said, Michelle, too many of our students, because it's Black history,
think they know it.
They think they know it.
It's true.
Whereas you don't come into this like. Yeah. No, there is a complete backstory and process, and even the way to think about it, training you how to interpret information, how to, like you said, go research information, and all of these stories that are connected that you have no clue.
That's right.
Like, I know about this little portion over here. Then when you realize how expansive it is, you realize like, whoa.
And how they work together.
Yes.
They work together. I mean, you could have told me about Miss Bernice Lindsay and Mrs. Artie Halliard, but I didn't see them outside of Milwaukee. Right. They all over this country. They're being moved by Booker T. Washington, W. Du Bois.
Wait, what?
All of these people, all of these people influence. That's like a Booker T. Washington walking down Milwaukee Street because it's them.
Booker T. What?
Oh yeah, it's them. They have it embedded in them. The Booker T.
It's hard to imagine Booker T. Washington walking down the street in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Like what?
I'm
Say what?
The Negro Business League. He came to Milwaukee.
But again, you don't think about that though.
So
there's nothing that tells you that.
Yes, he's in Black Milwaukee. Booker T comes, and you can Google it. and black newspapers, and you'll see where Booker T comes and he talks to the people at MATC and
Somebody said they
advise
just
them.
renewed their
And
membership with Wisconsin.
he advised them on how to build trade centers and technical colleges for MATC.
Wait, say that part again.
He does this before he dies. He comes to Milwaukee, and he advised a group of white citizens who's going to build a trade center, a technical school in Milwaukee, how to do that. Booker T. Washington does it, and he has dinner at St. Mark's Church, and he meets with the leading Milwaukee citizens in Milwaukee.
Okay, so this is wonderful.
But I'm what I'm saying to you when I mention Miss Audie Halliard, when I mention C.L. Johnson, when I mention Bernice Lindsay, these people, in excuse me for the stumblingness, but these people put into their spirit the philosophy of the Booker T. Washingtons, the W. E. Du Boises, and they lived their lives. We had the Rod and Gun Club that talks about Booker T. We had a radio program that talks about the Booker T. Washington. We had the YMCA that did the Booker T. Washington thing. We had clubs, Columbia Savings and Loan. The whole creation of it was about just as the Halliard Park area,
right,
creating housing for people, all on the Booker T. Washington philosophy. And so that when I went back to college, I did not understand how, when Miss Audie Halliard tells me, did you know that C.L. Johnson pulled all of his money out of her Columbia Savings and Loan? And I said, well, it's his money. He can do what he want to do with it. What I didn't know is that they were part of a collaboration of people working together to forward the Booker T. Washington concept. They started in Beloit, Wisconsin, and they brought it to Milwaukee,
and
Wisconsin.
look, I'm so terrible because, bless you, so George Bledsoe, who's with the NAACP, is listening. And he was like, Michelle, I just told you. My mind is awful because I just spoke over at the First Unitarian Methodist Church.
Yes.
This past Sunday.
Yes.
And he was telling me, and I forgot all about it just that quick, that Booker T. Washington has spoke at that very church.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it is so cool to understand that footprint, when you start talking about how that moves other people.
That's right.
And
how it still lives within us and the things in which we do today. The various people.
And I think, like, for me, some of the things that I miss are like those markers that say, Booker T. Washington visited Milwaukee and spoke here at this place, or like we don't have a ton of tangible landmarks,
right? We don't.
In terms of, and I've tried to figure out like why that is.
It's our responsibility.
It really is, because like getting these people to do a Malcolm X Boulevard, or like good luck with all of that, and then you find out like he spent a portion of his life here. Like how does this not happen? And then you go to other cities and you see it and you feel it, and it's just so. If you all are not here to tell us or point us to a book, if I'm just visiting the city, how do I know any of this stuff?
Yeah.
That's like, I think one of my frustrations is we could do so much more as a Black community, to like the fact that you can drive by Al Jarreau's house every day and don't nobody had nothing out there that said it's Al Jarreau's house.
That's right.
Like, we just went on a college tour. Where was Aretha Franklin's house at? Memphis. Now, it's a straight up shack. And the city need to be shamed for the way they let that house look right now. But there is a placard that says the birthplace of Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
And it just, I've always thought about that. Like, where is our stuff? Why don't C.L. Franklin's church was around the corner from that house? Okay. But that's Dr. Mars talking in the background, y'all. Y'all know how she is. But to be able to have some of those things, I just don't understand how and it's not just that history, it's a lot of history we don't see, in the city. And I don't know.
I shared with you the last time I was here, Afro Urban Institute. Do you remember me talking about that?
Mention it again real
Afro
fast.
Urban Institute. When we
Right.
talk about the development of our communities, North Division, Martin Luther King Center, the idea of redeveloping Martin Luther King Street,
Okay.
renaming it and
Right.
reclaiming it
Yes.
because white folks, just all sorts of the People's Beer all came out of Afro Urban Institute. 1970, Nixon money uh, uh, that actually did this. But they didn't last for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And they wanted to be on the down low. They wanted to keep very quiet about it. But they wanted to make contributions. But we have a rich history here. And that's what we try to do. We're trying to get it out there, but it's not easy. I'm doing the best I can. And our folks don't even come to the museum simply because they think they know it. They know it all, and they don't.
Well, you know what? But I'm gonna just be honest, just to be reminded too. I tell people, and no knock to you, but I just say this to people all the time. And I'm glad you're, like you let people know, no, as many times as they have me, I'm gonna come and talk about what we're doing, because I tell people McDonald's advertises, McDonald's it stays present, even though we all know McDonald's, we know the Golden Arches, but you have to remind people, it's so many places that I forget to go. I gotta be honest. You have to be very intentional about how you spend your time, where you patronize business. And there are times that until somebody says something to me, I'm like, oh, I haven't been there. Or, I haven't been there in a while, until you said, excuse me, the piece about the membership. I was like, Jesus, because that was one of the things that I did at the first of the year, every year. Black Holocaust Museum,
Wisconsin Black
Historical Society. Y'all got your money on the same day, and very intentional about it. Life gets in the way. I start doing other things, and now it's not a regular anymore. So I'm gonna continue to implore you. Flag it for us. Hey, remind people, we need you to support and come through here and let us know what's happening. We can have a standing conversation.
We need these institutions, y'all. We don't have. I mean, so many of our institutions have gone out of existence.
Or they're not our institutions.
Well,
when you look at who runs the board, who runs the organizations, we the face of it, but we not calling no shots for real.
I'm not going to be compromised. This is a people's institution right here.
All right,
we're all about the people.
Yes, sir.
So,
all right. Well, thank you so much, Mr.
coming.
Claiborne Benson, y'all. This Friday, the 20th, we are going to get together to watch the premiere of 688. And it starts at what time?
At 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, no cost.
No cost.
Come on
whatsoever.
through.
Come on
Should
through.
we bring us?
And then I have our Kwanzaa. We're going to have some popcorn or something there for people to be able to chew on the popcorn. But we're going to have some good time. So please come.
All right.
Kwanzaa coming up, and we got a lot of other stuff in January and February. So here we go.
All right. Bye. Well, I'll have you back in. All right, y'all. I'm going to take a quick break. Want to thank Mr. Benson for coming through. And give me a second. I'll be right back. What's up, Dr. Myers?
And holiday trips, and holiday toys, and holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
Find your red tag. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $3,750 total value on this Silverado when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
The passing of a loved one is emotional enough without adding the stress of funeral arrangements. By pre-planning, you receive the desires of your heart while taking away the burden from your family. It also saves you money, providing the dignity and respect your memory deserves. And there are times when life ends unexpectedly. Please know that the New Pitts Mortuary is here to lend a helping, caring hand anytime, day or night. We are the New Pitts.
Is this Brothers on the Couch? I mean,
yeah, hey.
One Monkey Don't Stop No Show.
Listen here.
Who put this song in the rotation? What is this?
Go ahead and leave,
over here singing it. Like, what is going on?
Hold on, I gotta go back to the top to when he said he need 3.
I saw you doing the 1, 2, and
yeah. I mean, I figured since she did the 12 days of Christmas and 5 months free, I figured
5 months free rent.
11 pair of shoes. 10 fingernails. I got 10 fingernails.
Well, we said if you're gonna leave, go ahead and leave.
I just want what's on my list.
You can't have one. You gotta have 3.
One woman just don't hold me down.
Hallelujah.
One woman just to lift me up.
What?
And I gotta at least have one woman on the side.
That's it.
3 women.
You gotta have 3.
1 to hold me down.
1 to hold me down.
1 to lift me up.
1 to lift me up.
And 1 on the side.
That's it.
What kind of raggedy?
If you gonna leave, go ahead and leave, baby. One thing for sure.
The fact that Carvey was singing it, I was so outdone.
Yeah.
He caught me completely off guard.
One monkey don't
I mean, like he's singing like this was his jam.
Yeah.
It's on the playlist.
Hey, see, what y'all don't know is us fellas from the station, we get
together. Yeah, because y'all be on the couch.
We get together.
Y'all be together on the couch.
and we play King George all night.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this
we gonna leave.
Let's listen to Carvey.
Go ahead and leave, baby.
Man, he was talking about Teddy P yesterday, talking about some let it go.
I'm telling you, this day, Ralph Tresvant on the couch moments they be having. One woman to hold me down, 1 to lift me up.
One thing that I found out, you can't have one woman, gotta have 3.
Really, Carvey? Don't nobody hear from you all day, and then when you decide you want to get in on it, this is it. And want to harmonize the mess too.
One thing for sure, one monkey don't stop.
You've been waiting to play that.
Oh, if you gonna leave.
That came up way too quick.
Go ahead and leave, baby.
I think you talking to somebody. That came up way too quick. I was like,
see,
completely out the blue.
That's because
that mess ain't never been played in my show.
That's because I'm swift on my toes.
No. Where'd that come from?
See,
that ain't
I don't care who she is. She better not get past my 5 meals that I'm over. So that's whoever you are, lady.
Oh, is it Shoot Your Shot Wednesday?
Hey, he gonna be in. He gonna be in. He gonna be in
so
for
crazy.
another.
He look crazy. Just look at him.
Only one.
Oh, Carvey, I promise. You don't stop.
Sing bass for me, Doc. Sing bass.
I mean, clearly had it just locked and loaded.
I had one in the chamber.
You was ready.
You know, just like the Beats was on the phone, and we had the 21 question, and
somebody said, "Go ahead, streetcar."
Hey, if you gonna leave, go ahead and leave, baby. Oh yeah. Felt that thing. That thing rooted in me.
Now, Jermaine, I really do want to know the origin of Ride Out. Did your family, like after slavery, they was like, we out, and that's how y'all derived the name?
Well, you know, I figured when we come back from break, I can give you the history. Because I need 3 histories, amen.
Do you need 3? Let me find out it's 2 and 3. Let me find out. But you know what? What's good for the goose?
It's good for the gander. So that's why we say.
So we can keep our rock.
We got to
because you know why? Because one monkey don't stop a show. So we got 5 more monkeys to deal with.
I'm just saying.
If you're going to leave, go ahead and leave, baby.
Go to break, man. Go to break.
Leave, baby.
Get ready for an explosive deal
and holiday trips and holiday toys and holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
Find your red tag. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $3,750 total value on this Silverado when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Chevrolet, together.
The passing of a loved one is emotional enough without adding the stress of funeral arrangements. By pre-planning, you receive the desires of your heart while taking away the burden from your family. It also saves you money, providing the dignity and respect your memory deserves. And there are times when life ends unexpectedly. Please know that the New Pitts Mortuary is here to lend a helping, caring hand anytime, day or night. We are the New Pitts Mortuary.
See, they don't know nothing about. They don't know nothing about that.
I'm not feeding in the people.
Right on time.
Oh my God.
Right on. See, you see how I'm right on point with you.
I don't.
Because you said this training gonna keep on rolling, and it came right in on
I'm
that
just
part.
saying this is a mess you was already on. Hey.
See, that's how they look at you across the table, like.
Soon as you walk right out the door,
I'm talking to you. When that
Wait,
song
you said
come
as soon as
on,
you walk out the door, I'm gonna do what?
Fight with you, I ain't never wrong.
Yeah, because he said as soon as you walk out the door, he was gonna do something.
you probably gonna cheat.
Oh yeah,
But let's see what he said.
baby, you can leave, yeah, but I'll never be alone.
What?
Soon as you walk right out the door, I call Kim up on the phone.
Kim, where you at?
Oh, that's what we
Don't call Kim. Hey, if you gonna leave,
That's what we
Go ahead and leave.
Kim.
Yeah, we gonna call Kim and Kiki and all of them.
Oh, Debo that came in. This your jam. Call Kiki.
Hey.
If you want to leave,
You gonna leave? Go ahead and leave, baby.
one thing.
There's something going on. All of these little men empowerment songs. It's something going
Hey,
on.
listen. We had to listen to her 12 Days of Christmas and the 5 months free and all these diamond rings and everything else. You know, we felt some kind of way.
on her Christmas list.
Yeah, but she wanted it from us, though.
She was gonna get all 12.
She wanted, hey, and if she wasn't gonna get it from me, she was gonna get it from somebody.
Closed mouth don't get fed, bro. Closed mouth don't get fed.
What was
Wait.
You know.
Say that again.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
So again,
but that
if
ain't
you
got
gonna
nothing to do
leave,
about.
go ahead and
Somebody
leave.
said that song.
She was leaving.
Wait, somebody said that song is so ratchet.
You can't have one. You gotta have 3.
I mean, and then this one he gonna name them Kiki,
Yeah,
and Kim.
yeah.
You know,
So you'll know who they are.
I can't.
Because I'm letting you know I got options.
Yeah.
Because if you leave, go ahead and leave. One monkey.
But
Don't
see,
stop
if you
no
didn't
show.
have 3, we probably wouldn't be having no problems.
Right.
You probably
Your
would be
time
leaving, huh?
is divided. You can't give.
Okay, you have a point. I
100%.
think you have a point there.
So you know that's part of the problem.
Okay, but
If
let me
you
figure it
wasn't
out.
Why your
trying to
pocket's
hold
stretched
down
already because
3,
you're trying to helm 3.
Let me figure out this rebuttal real
because
quick.
you
Give me a
ain't
second.
got one.
no rebuttal.
Hold on.
You
Give
ain't
me,
got one.
give me a second to figure it out.
Don't look for nothing.
Mhm. Hold up. Give me a second here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm.
You
Okay,
know.
I got it.
Okay, what is it?
So that's it. If you're gonna leave, go ahead and leave.
No rebuttal. If
No
you wasn't
rebuttal.
trying to hold down
If you
3,
weren't trying to hold down 3, you would have all the 12 things.
that's
on my
all
Christmas
I'm saying.
You know what?
That's all I'm saying.
Because it
All
wasn't
right.
much.
So I got some breaking
got you.
news. I got some breaking news. First of all, Dr. Myers actually broke this one, came in
Yes.
and said that my man Michael Vick
Mm-hmm.
is in the game.
Fly,
Yeah.
Eagles, fly.
So the news has broke. Former NFL QB Michael Vick is going to
Norfolk State University.
I am so glad. Dude, like, first of all, I still have never gotten over how they tried to destroy this boy. Like, never gotten over it. You can beat your wife and stay in the league. But this dog fighting, stuff
he
that
didn't
went
do,
on.
He bankrolled, not actually.
He wasn't there. He wasn't fighting no
with the
dogs, even though his money was on the table. But like, I was so cheering for him.
Me too.
Like you got to go to jail, and what they do to brothers, I'm sorry. It's just off the chain. And so for him to be able to come back and to have rebuilt,
Came back to the league.
he came back with a positive attitude too. He didn't come back bitter. He wasn't blaming people. He just did what he needed to do to get life back on track. But this opportunity, one of the things you said is because you don't see people trying to have Black former NFL players coming into the Power 5 conferences.
No, they don't.
They
were rare. They never get the opportunity. I don't care how good you were, Super Bowl champion, whatever else. You don't get the first call to go work at a Power 5 school or work at one of those quality programs like a Alabama or something like that. And because of
and I want to be careful about saying a quality program.
I'm saying the athletic.
I still want to be careful saying a quality program, because it's about how they're resourced.
Well, exactly. That's a better resource program. Let me say that.
Right.
Where you have all the accoutrement.
Yeah, because what they said in 6 888. We'll turn a home, take a shack and make it a home.
Absolutely.
So we have,
which we do and have done.
Yeah, HBCUs have had to work on very little sometimes and still have been able to rise to the top in terms of what they try to do in terms of athletics. But this is it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
My thing just will be the frustration of you get there and then you get picked off. Once people figure out, oh, you can do a little something, because that still was the
gripe about
frustration
Deion.
with Deion. Because you use these schools as a stepping stone to be able to be seen and get an opportunity, And so on one hand, you can't really begrudge people because you're not getting.
Right. I think when you look at people like Doug Williams was the head coach at Grambling for a while. I want to say 2 stints. He may have been back at Grambling after Eddie Robinson had retired. But again, he never got another head coaching opportunity at one of those bigger schools.
Right.
And this is Doug, you think about
it's Doug Williams.
Right. So when you think about a lot of black former NFL players, they haven't gotten that opportunity to do that. They may get picked as an assistant or like a DB coach or something like that at a school.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's the part about it, And
that's crazy.
That's the part about it that frustrates me to the point that, like when we talk about like people that served in the military, we love this country even when this country didn't love us back.
Yeah.
People, black folks love the game of football, even when football has not been fair to black folks.
Exactly.
And
has been downright discriminatory. The Wonder Test.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, but we still hang in there. We still
for the
cheer.
Love of the game and all of that.
Yeah, but like I'm just at that point, and that's why I said I had been focusing more on college ball.
Yeah, than NFL,
even though we know it's just as rampant in college ball.
Yeah.
That's the beginning.
The beginning of it.
And I need to stop because if you look at high school ball.
Oh, true.
And what kind of resources go into these programs.
Oh, and even with black head coaches, my daddy was one of the few black head coaches of a high school football team.
Here in Milwaukee.
And it was a lot for it to be said.
He was at
Hamilton for years. When he was the head, I think he may have been the first black head football coach at Hamilton. You think that's a South Side school, a black head coach? Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it had to be a lot.
It had to be a lot.
I mean, so that's like a part of the frustration. So obviously, I'm gonna be cheering for dude, but when I say nothing short of like frustrating, just watch how somebody said we HBCU still want our $20 million though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And it's more than 20.
Come on,
it's more than 20.
Come on.
Especially when you talk about the land grant schools, because we are old and old a lot.
So let me ask you a quick question, because you are not from DC, obviously. But had you ever heard of a guy named Rayfield Edmond III?
Yeah, Rayfield Edmond. Rayfield Edmond was the dope man back in the day. Rayfield. One thing I tell you I admire about Rayfield Edmond, now he was wrong, and Rayfield tell you he was wrong, but he learned how to sell dope from his daddy and his mama. But he took his bid because he didn't want his mama to get locked up. Now Rayfield, just gonna say.
So he just came up dead. Yes,
he just came up
dead.
So Rayfield Edmond III, the notorious drug kingpin believed to have fueled
the
mid-'80s crack epidemic in Washington, D.C.,
he did.
has passed away at the age of 60. Released from federal prison earlier this year.
Yeah, he had just gotten out.
Edmond III was pronounced dead on, what's today? Wednesday? Yesterday. According to the federal,
say he had turned some states.
Bureau of Prisons. Edmond was living at a halfway house he had been transferred to by federal authorities prior to his passing. His official cause of death is unknown at this time.
It's a setup on that. Somebody got it.
A native of Washington, D.C., Edmond III entered the drug game at an early age, first peddling marijuana before moving on to cocaine distribution during the early 1980s. By the latter half of the decade, Edmond III had evolved from a mid-level dealer into the head of what was called, quote, the largest cocaine distribution operation in the history of the nation's capital. During his reign as DC's crack kingpin, the capital became the murder capital of the United States, causing the likes of Presidents Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush to declare the historic war on drugs, with Edmond's organization as their prime target.
That was when George Bush set up. They set up somebody to sell crack in Lafayette Park across from the White House. He was like, "This crack was found." It was like that was nobody was selling crack in the park across from the White House. That wasn't happening.
Edmund was arrested in 1989 and charged with running a continuing criminal enterprise, eventually being found guilty and receiving a federal prison sentence of life without parole.
But then he got out earlier this
His
year.
trial was the first to have anonymous jurors who were enclosed by
'Cause they would've come
bulletproof
up
glass
missing. They would've came up missing.
during the proceedings, a measure taken due to Edmund's seemingly murderous reputation. He was housed at a Marine Corps base and flown to court via helicopter throughout the entirety of the trial. Another unprecedented. He was kept on a Marine Air Force base. I mean, a Marine base and flown to trial. However, Edmund would continue running his drug distribution network from federal prison after meeting Dixon Dario and Osvaldo Chico Trujillo Blanco, son of iconic Queen Pen Griselda Blanco. Her stuff is running on Netflix right now.
Now you see how it all go together.
Resulting in him receiving an additional 30-year prison sentence. Edmund's sentence would be reduced after becoming a federal informant.
That's why he gone now.
Following his second conviction on drug kingpin charges.
Well, we know how that go, don't we?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Griselda is still playing right now on Netflix. I had to watch that because I didn't know her story.
Oh yeah, Griselda was.
That was a
mess.
whole. It was a hot mess, and so I wasn't up on his brother.
No, Rayful Edmund. Yeah, he was it back in DC in the day.
Yeah, I mean, Rayful Edmund. And so it caught my eye when I saw the story because I was like, Griselda, like all of this is connected, but they also know that they was on some nonsense with the way they was trying to portray caller, I see you, I'll be right there. But trying to portray, like the whole war on drugs.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, y'all putting this mess on the street.
Exactly. Because it was the Iran-Contra with Freeway Ricky in California, Rayful in DC, Griselda was in Florida. All of that was working together.
Exactly.
And they was getting it right from Nicaragua.
And I'm just like the feds, y'all need
and
to
from
stop.
Medellin down there. Yeah.
Y'all need to stop playing. Like y'all didn't have y'all hands.
And you know where that money went to, right?
To fund the
Contras.
Iran-Contra.
But the Contras also gave birth to Osama bin Laden.
Yes. Yeah, we helped to create
that. Yes. So all that go together.
All right, so let me bring up something else real quick. Since we got a couple minutes. So people have been worried, Elon Musk with this unfettered access to,
He trying to go save the people on the International Space Station. Ain't he?
Well, I mean, the hypocrisy, the irony of talking about immigrants coming to this country to take over. They're trying to take your jobs.
Well,
exactly.
He took over.
And that's exactly what's happening because CNN came out with a story. Elon Musk comes out swinging against government spending package in early test of his political might. So he's used his fake social media outlet to start bullying Republicans that may go along with the spending package that's being proposed to avert a budget government shutdown. And so like literally you using the bully pulpit that you purchased to be able to try to scare Republicans into doing what you want to do. And I'm like, so all this conversation about immigrants taking over the country and immigrants, taking jobs. And you got like what they believe is a shadow vice president in a man from South Africa. It is one of the most frustrating things when you understand how people like the audaciousness of it all. and we see it,
Mm-hmm.
but in so many outside of voting, there's not a lot you can do about any of this right now. And I don't know how everyday Americans just sit back and watch it. Like, I know you see what I see
because it's a reality show.
This man is a immigrant to this country. The amount of power and access he has based solely on money that he made off government contracts. So he used, in part, not in all, government money to become wealthy to then manipulate the government. Let me go to the phone line before I bust the vein. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Michelle?
Hey.
And everybody in the studio. I'm calling because I opened up my tax envelope today, and I just want to thank all the people that voted for the referendum for the school. Like I'm on a fixed income, and I really think that there needs to be some type of bill passed for the elderly people that live in this here city, because things keep going up, and our income remains the same. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. So I do want to let you know that State Senator Lena Taylor and the representative that's sitting here, State Representative Lakeisha Myers, our offices actually looked into, because we have roots in southern states, where there is exceptions or differentials made for elderly individuals, people on fixed incomes. So in some states, by the time you reach 70,
you no longer pay.
You no longer pay property taxes, or your property taxes will be frozen. At their current rate. We did talk to the lawyers for the state to try to help us craft legislation to address this. One of the things that they said is it requires a constitutional amendment, because our Constitution is set up that no individual can be shown
preferential treatment,
differential treatment, either or, based on, in terms of paying taxes. They didn't want to hear it across the board. Everybody had to pay, full freight, as Keith likes to say, or whatever their
other part of that
was.
There was a bill that was presented. It was a Republican sponsored bill, which I actually agreed with, that would have done the same or similar things to entice people who leave the state for 6 months and a day out of the year to halt their property taxes, and it failed, and it was vetoed by the governor.
Right.
And even in caucus at that time, when I was explaining to people, how is it that we as a caucus go out and not defend this when we have an aging population, and then you also have people who were teachers, who were public servants, all of these people who are now living on fixed incomes or living off their pensions or whatever they have, yet their taxes are continually going up. And these people already put into the system, and they need this reprieve. I got looked at like I had 3 heads.
Until it becomes them.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's
I'm not
like
talking
every
about,
one of us is going
I'm
to
talking about
age.
my mama.
Yeah, I literally just had
most of the people in my district.
I literally just had the state send me my retirement information. Like they can, just do a snapshot and tell you, so this is what you'll get as a monthly, payout in terms of your retirement from the state. Girl, I looked at that number like,
who living off that?
I can't live. Like if I didn't have nothing else, I'm like, and if you have not done this, people, if you have not taken a moment, like that Social Security statement that you get at the end of the beginning of the year, end of the year, however it goes, that tells you if something was to happen right now and you had to start collecting Social Security, this is what you would get.
Yeah.
At this age, this is what, like, some of y'all seriously got to do the math.
When I first went on dialysis, they send you that thing. You could be considered medically disabled.
Right.
And it was like, I want to say $1,200. I said, child, please, my play money.
Disability.
Yes.
Disability. That's for the whole month.
For the whole month. I was like.
And so to that caller's point, we got people that are living on a fixed income.
Yeah.
And if you're going to remain eligible for certain things, even if you do get a little side job, you're only going to be able to work so many hours.
Yeah.
So there are people that are not at all seriously thinking about quality of life. You know, even as home, I was going to just say, even as homeowners, you know, because if living in this state, if they don't do anything, what kind of money do you have to have put aside to be able to pay those property taxes if you're going to stay in your community? That's why so many of these people are selling and moving out.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford to keep doing this anymore.
And then when you look at the other part of that, people just got hit with 2 new taxes.
Right.
So you had the Act 12 stuff that happened with that, with the county and everything else.
Yep.
And then you turn around with the school referendum.
Right.
So all of that is,
and when they selling it to people, and this was the stuff that was irritating
like,
me.
It's $3.
Yeah, you telling people, and to his
the cost
point,
of a Big Mac.
Yeah, you know, it's like, but damn, I'm getting hit twice on top of already not being able to afford some of this stuff.
And we don't have the home ownership level in the city of Milwaukee to sustain that.
Exactly. You feel like you taking on definitely more than your fair share.
You are. Because we don't have as many homeowners.
And
as
then
they have
NPS lurking around in the background going, we may not be done. We may still need some more money.
Yeah, they're going to be done.
You know, we not sure. Somebody said my grandparents live in Indiana and they didn't have to pay property taxes on their home after they reached a certain age.
Right.
They lived until they were 82 and 92. Yeah. I mean, a lot
Tennessee
of Tennessee
is the same way. Mississippi.
They had, Alabama had those provisions, you know, but I'm just telling people, like, some of y'all are not thinking about quality of life. And if
beyond
you're not,
where you are now,
right? If you're not putting, and if you know, this is the other thing, like if you know you have not made a ton of money, like you've been making 50, 60,000 a year, your Social Security or your retirement
is not going to be
compared to the kind of lifestyle you've been used to living.
Right.
So that whole piece about honestly putting some money aside so that, you know, like my mother, I used to supplement a lot of stuff just on the strength of.
Yeah.
And my mom was actually in decent shape. But when I looked at it after she died, she didn't have a ton of money.
Right.
But she didn't have a ton of bills. So it was kind of offset. You know, she had bought her car. She was done. She had, you know, the other houses was paid for except for 2. So she was done. But if my mom had still been paying a mortgage, a major mortgage, because her mortgage wasn't high, my mama would have been in trouble. I had to go back and look at her stuff. I was like, man, you lucked out. But
and then you think about, she was a nurse. So a lot of times nurses make the bulk of their money during their employment period.
Right.
They don't have a lot usually in the backfield of like pension and retirement like that.
I'm telling you,
they make higher
when I got
salaries
done
when
looking, I mean, like literally, I just breathed a sigh of relief, like, because my mother never went without. You know, she never was saying like, I don't know how, but I know she didn't play about her money either. You know, and she still got to do a little vacation here and there. But like, if you just think about the way we used to live in, you know, and I feel comfortable saying it because Solisa said when she calls the station, you know, Solisa will say, I'm trying to do everything I can. I think she set off like $900 for the whole month. So I got to, and then if I don't have low income housing,
right?
God forbid, I'm actually, even if you paying $600, which is reasonable to me, but not on $900 income.
Yeah, that's way.
So yeah, bro, we feel your pain. It's something we have talked about. We got to do something, and you know, over and over again, we see our neighborhoods.
This is why you see people leaving
turning
and going
over
to the South.
Oh, your money goes so much further.
Yeah, your money goes so much further when you move to a Mississippi or you go back, you know, to someplace else.
Because they could sell their house here, buy a house down south
for less,
bigger house, you know, say comparable or bigger. and not have that property tax burden, and then have some of that extra change to be able to help live off of. So yeah, it does make a difference. But no, there are legislators that have looked at it, that have tried to figure this whole thing out. And when you have these people standing at your door talking about this only going to be $2 or $3, you know, it's easy to say that when you still in your earning years,
right?
You know, when you talk about your grandmama on
and
Social
don't add on
Security,
any ailments so that you have to pay for care or anything like that out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, the frustration. So and just to his point real quick, I pulled up an article that was out yesterday. I remember seeing it. Across Milwaukee, property values have hit an eye-popping number. In total, $40.8 billion. That's up 17% since last year and 53% since 2018. One couple, Mohammed and Amanda Dwabashe, say higher tax assessments year after year are starting to sour the American dream. Forget that part. Forget that part. Okay, they bought a house in the River Bend neighborhood, cost $185,000. When April's 2024 tax assessment notice arrived, they discovered that their property now valued at $224,000, a jump of $39,000 since last year. Now, what happened that my property went up $39,000?
Because that's close by me.
So he said the city assessor's office labeled the couple's where'd it go? Labeled the couple's basement as a third bedroom. A change triggered by the installation of an egress window, which expanded the home's square footage. He was like, no, I'm rejecting that. No, we just put in an egress window. It's not a bedroom down there. So there are people that, are contesting. You got to know what you got to be able to do, understand the deadlines, how to file an appeal. The deadline to appeal your property tax assessments, has already passed. Milwaukee property owners will have the chance to appeal 2025 assessments starting in mid-April. You can look up any city of Milwaukee property values by clicking here. So yeah, so you can start appealing, but it's real. And good luck with them appeals.
No, and I'm thinking about Riverwood, but that's River Bend is over by like Hawley, I think.
I don't know where that is.
Close by the VA hospital.
So all right, but yeah, just so y'all know, this what y'all legislators is for though, y'all. Y'all need to stay on these people and be like, look, introduce the amendment, do something to be able to get us some traction and and that the thing, and why we won't do something about it is so frustrating because every one of us, God willing, is gonna get older and gonna be in this boat. I don't care how much money you make, unless your damn pension is $11,000. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because if your pension is $11,000, I'm gonna tell you, please don't leave. Please don't leave.
I mean, 11 G's, man, come on.
Yeah,
man.
for 11 G's, a monkey can stop the show.
Oh, you ain't letting me go? You ain't letting me go if I got $11,000?
Baby, you stand. We stand.
We staying.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
We stand together.
And I am telling you,
I ain't going nowhere.
Go to a different room.
Yeah, I'm trying to check.
What'd you say? Go to a different room.
Man, listen here.
I'm right here.
You better go.
Now you want to sing it different too.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah,
now you want to
Yeah, because now you call me James Brown. Please, please don't go. Please, please. I'll be there with a cape on and everything.
Ain't nothing. At first, you got to have 3.
Yeah, we gonna leave.
We started talking about some real stuff like, who gonna be able to help maintain his lifestyle. Now, I done got real cute now.
Oh, baby, you the finest thing I've ever seen, baby. Listen here, baby. I promise you, that monkey can stop the show. The show is stopped, baby.
I don't know how I feel about none of this.
Hey, man. Sometimes you gotta, if you can't beat them, you gotta join them, man.
Man, $11,000.
Yeah, baby. Hey, listen though, we gonna make it through the storm, rain, hurricane, tornadoes.
No. Call Kim and Kiki.
Oh, I already told you.
Lose my number.
Just like on Harlem Nights. I ain't coming home. I called them already, told them.
You know what?
I ain't coming home.
Sunshine wants me to let you know. It didn't work then.
God.
It ain't working now.
Baby, go leave.
All right. So for all the non-trifling people, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. For all you bros that was with Jermaine and Carvey
Hey, man, that
singing the song. Yeah.
So hey, man, that picture changed my mind. Hey, yeah, that picture's like, what you say? What you talking about, Willis?
So mad.
Yeah. I done changed that whole tune.
I'm so mad at you.
Yeah, we gonna rewrite that
to
song.
be raggedy. I am so mad at you.
Yeah, we gonna write that song.
Bye, Jermaine. Bye, Jermaine.
Missed your favorite show?